everyone. So we're making our first loaves, but I wanted to come back and talk kind of about the final steps for the starter that we have. Some questions came up of what do I do now? I use some of the starter for the loaves. Do I feed it again? What do I do? So realistically, every day your starter is out, you want to be feeding it the same kind of feeding that we've been doing. I usually try to double it in size. Some people go a little bit less if you want less of a sour flavor and more of a rise, so you get those big open holes. What I do though, to make sure in case I ever forget to feed it, or if it's a really hot day or something happened, is I'll usually take a very, very small spoonful, mix it. This is kind of my backup that I've had in the fridge for a couple of months. And every so often I'll replenish that backup. So there's not very much in there. It's maybe a small spoonful of starter with about 15 grams of flour and 11 grams of water. Mix it up, let it out for an hour, and then I'll put it in the fridge, and that kind of stays in the fridge for a while as your backup. Anything that you have out, realistically, because we want to be conserving as much flour as we can, especially because it sounds like all the flour is sold out everywhere. We don't want to be making as much flour, as much starter as we're making every day. So what you can do is you can reduce it. You can take a spoonful out of this and effectively feed it a couple of grams of water, a couple grams of flour, but kind of in the same ratios that we've been talking. What I would recommend is going to a little bit more of a firmer dough. It takes a little bit longer to ferment. It won't feel like it's going bad as quickly. What I would recommend is take a spoonful out of the starter that you have, and this will be your new starter. You can use this to make some dough. You can make some sourdough pancakes. You can make some pizza dough. We're making our first loaves here. Sometimes it's good to get another set of loaves going, and you have the starter already that you can use to make another set of loaves to bake tomorrow. But what I would do is reduce the amount that you have. So every time we're adding, so far we've been adding 50 grams of water, 50 grams of flour for the whole wheat, 50 and 40 for the white. That's just a lot of flour to be going through. So we'll reduce it, we'll go to a spoonful and use a much smaller container to be able to maintain it in. That way you're only throwing away 5 grams of flour as opposed to 50 grams of flour if you choose not to bake that day. That kind of discard that we have, we've reduced the quantity, and you never need that much to start building it up. So if you only have 10 grams of starter, you can go to 50 grams very quickly in one feeding. You can go to 150 grams in 2 feedings, something like that. So that's where we are with the starter. If you're going to leave it out, feed it every day. If not, you can always put it in a smaller container, a lot less of it, and put it in the fridge, and you're good for a bit. If you want to bake, make sure to feed it once or twice before you start the process, so you get all of the yeast and bacteria going again, and then you're good. But that's the end of our Grow Your Own Sourdough starter. Hopefully you've tried doing the pizza, and now we're doing the bread, and follow along. Let me know how it's going. All right, see ya.